Hi everybody, Jeff here again. Today I'm going to show you about blocking. This is called wall blocking. Some people call it cabinet blocking. And this is why I always tell you it's a great idea if you can have all of your drywall down and exposed down to the studs whenever you're doing a remodel, because then you can see exactly what's going on, and you can also make much better preparation than even the builder did. So this wall here was actually rebuilt, this whole stud wall in the kitchen here. And blocking involves using blocks of wood like this to put across the studs at the approximate height where the top of the counter is going to be. So for example, if you look at our base counters here, you see that right there? So right along the top edge of those counters there, those base cabinets, those are at about 34 inches. That's pretty standard across most of the base cabinets. And so what you want to do is you want to have a line at around 34 inches or so that goes across there. And you can put these blocks of wood, so there'll be one here, straight line all the way across. That way you don't have to worry about screwing through the back of the cabinet and trying to hit a stud, trying to find a stud or missing it or whatever. That's what a lot of people do, and it usually for most people it ends up being a lesson in futility. That's what some of the old school craftsmen used to do. But when you put one of these in here, the great thing about it is it doesn't matter where you screw through the back of your cabinet, you're always guaranteed to hit wood no matter what. You're going to hit the wood here. Now if you look at the wood here, you'll see I like to use a 2x6 for this. Now assuming this is the top of your base cabinet will line up to this, of course there'll be drywall there. You won't be able to see it, but you just have faith and you know that when you screw through the back of the top of your cabinet there, you'll be able to hit this wood. So there's a cross brace on the back of every base cabinet, and that cross brace is usually about 4 inches or so. So it'll be, if you could see an imaginary line, it would be along the board like this. And the reason why I leave this overhang is it just gives you more margin of error. Alright, so we're going to toenail in this end here. You shoot the nail up at an angle, and we'll do the other side here. You always want to make sure those planks are flush with the front end of the studs so the drywall won't bump out on you. Now this one we're going to shoot in from the other side. Remember, these are 2x6s, so we're always going to put in 3 screws, 3 nails. Okay, go. Go. Alright, so here we are looking at the finished wall here with all of our cabinet blocks in place for the upper and the lower cabinets. So let's review what we've done here. You can see we have a whole line of them here going across here. These are for the bottom, for the base cabinets. And as you can see here in our picture here, that corresponds to here. So we made the line go all the way over here and stop just before where the refrigerator goes, because you don't need anything behind the refrigerator. Okay. So now that we've done those here, one thing to look at too is now you have the upper cabinets to deal with, as we've pointed out before, see? So you need a line to go behind the bottom of the upper cabinets and behind the bottom of these upper cabinets, which are shorter because they go over the sink. And then you need a line to go across the top of the cabinets, wherever they're going to mount. And according to our drawing here, these are mounting at 96 inches above the floor. So you can see what we've done is we went over to 96 inches above the floor here. You can see where we marked it there. And that line up there is the upper border of our upper cabinets. So we come down from that mark. So we made those go all the way across because every upper cabinet needs to have a plank there behind the top. And then in the middle cabinet here, this is where the middle cabinet is that goes over the sink. Now these are overlapping because they have to go between studs. So what's going to happen here is you're going to have a left cabinet that's 24 inches here that will end probably somewhere right there. And then the upper cabinet will start here and go over to like right over to here. So that's why we have to have it span across 3 studs, even though we're only using 30 inches wide out of all of that. And then you may have noticed here that we have this big old 5-inch plumbing stack here going here. That's the pipe that the plumbers put in. And it spans all the way up to the ceiling and it goes up through the roof. And that's how you put air behind water for your plumbing. But the problem here is because that is so big, and even though we went real wide on these studs, these are 2x8 studs. It may not look like it in the video, but these are 8-inch studs that actually measure at about 7 1/4. So it doesn't leave you enough room here to put the same width of 2x that we put here. We had to use a 1x here to get past this pipe. So what we're doing here is, you can see we used a regular block. We put a block here, and then we use a 1x here to attach to the block. And then if you look real closely here, you'll see we toe nailed the screw in. So what we do is we take our drill, we pilot hole at an angle right through to this stud here, and then you run your deck screw in there. And you know, deck screw has always been my preferred method. And the reason is sometimes we end up with pieces of wood like this that are pressure treated. Pressure treated wood has all sorts of acids and chemicals and whatnot that will eventually eat through, corrode your regular screws if you use an untreated screw. So we prefer to use deck screws here whenever we're going into this wood. And I just use them anyway, just because I never know what kind of wood I'm going to be going through here. And you can see through all of the other spots on here, we just toe nail them in from the top. Some of these you can get lucky on, and you can get in on the right side and the left side. And then the neighbor one, you toe it in here. See, so here's a toe in. Okay, so now I want to show you something here because it's a safety precaution here. I've got these metal plates here, and we're going to be screwing these on the back of these 1x's here in front of this pipe so that somebody doesn't come along later and accidentally screw through and pierce the pipe. That would be really bad, especially if it was a actual water plumbing pipe. Right at this point here upward, it's really only just fumes from the sewer system. But if it was an actual pipe, like a water pipe, you know, you'd be in trouble. Or what if it was an electrical cable? And so we're going to put these plates here. And also when we install the drywall, we're going to mark on the drywall the width of where this pipe is, and we're just going to have a big note that says, hey, pipe, and we'll say do not use a screw longer than whatever length. Well, how long a screw should you use? The cabinet is going to be maybe a 1/2 inch to a 1/2 inch thick. Then you're going to have a 1/2 inch of drywall, and then you have this width here, which is, you know, probably almost an inch or so. So we'll do a stack up once we get the cabinets here and everything, and we'll calculate ahead of time what's the best size screw that we use so that we don't even hit this plate. You don't want to hit this plate at all. And that's really only an issue in this one spot. Everywhere else you have no problem whatsoever. You can see you can go right through the plates there with no problem. And so again, you know, by having all of these horizontal components here, no matter where you put your base cabinets, that back brace piece across the back of your cabinet is going to line up to the top 3 inches or so of each one of these members. So no matter where you put your screw, you're not going to miss. That's the beauty of this, and this is why you want to have your walls wide open when you're doing this kind of stuff. So you can see we've got nice blockage going here. And the other thing too that we're going to add, and you have to make sure you do this, is these block braces here. These I like these because these act as your fire blocks. So we're probably going to add some right here and here. And what that does is everything that's below, like the electricity is mostly going to be below. If you ever have a fire, and that's why you have these cavities in the wall here. If there's ever a fire in the wall, all the heat and vapor and fumes and stuff will not go shooting straight up to the attic immediately and, you know, going up and then causing a fire. Your whole house would burn down in a matter of 5 minutes. It would just spread rapidly. So this prevents like a chimney effect here. So, and it's not an end all. It's not 100% fire stop. What it does is everything you do in the house to prevent fire just delays the time. It just gives you more time to get out of the house. It gives the fire department more time to get there to save the house. So here you have it here. And please subscribe to our channel if you like this video, and we'll be putting up a lot more videos to help you out.